Alright guys, this is going to be to manually set up your Nexus root toolkit. Right here is the install file, here's the application. So this is going to be the manual version of how to set this up. So we're going to open the application, hit yes, and again, first thing we got to do here is make sure that you have the correct Android version for what you're on. Nexus 7 tablet is what we're working with. And if you're on Android 1.1 or 4.1 or 4.1.1, you got to pick whichever one you're on and pick the right one. I'm on 4.1.1, so we go there and then we hit apply. Alright, next we're going to go to here, initial setup, and we're going to go through this step by step up here on the top and try to kind of explain as best I can. The walkthrough on it actually is really good. So hopefully it won't be really that hard to follow, but I will go through with you guys. So the first thing we want to do is we want to open right here this and go launch USB debut, and then we want to look for Android ADB interface devices, Samsung USB devices, or Google USB drivers, and we want to uninstall anything we see. Specifically, we're looking for vendor IDs 18D1 or 04E8. So we'll go ahead and launch that. Alright. Let's wait for this to load up. Okay, here we go. So here is a whole bunch of Google ones right here. So we're going to go ahead and hit Control, and we are going to highlight a bunch of them. Alright, so there's 4 right there. So besides that, I'm going to scroll through and look for anything else that says Samsung or those 2 number designations I read earlier. These are all Motorola. Here's some SanDisk. Okay, so that's pretty much everything we got is these 4. So then we're going to right click and we're going to uninstall selected drivers and then push yes. When this gets done installing, we'll go to step 2. It's going to take a second, guys. So the reason you're doing this is because, I mean, you can see here I have an ADB, oh, it's gone. I have ADB working, but the reason you're doing this is because when you install these drivers, you don't want to have anything else there. So it'll, like, for example, if you plug this thing in and you install it, the drivers for it just automatically, it may not put the right drivers on there for you because you really have to have the ADB interface working. So, alright, so we can close this out. We'll go to step 2. Alright, install Samsung drivers. So we would go ahead and install Samsung drivers by clicking right here. So we'll click on that. Samsung mobile driver phones are already installed. Alright, so if they weren't installed, you would go ahead and install them here. I already have them installed, so we don't need to. So do you want to proceed anyway? No, we don't want to proceed. So if you did, you would go ahead and install them there in that step. So next we can go to step 3A. So let's see here. Yeah, step 3. Alright, so this says to enable USB debugging on your device. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so USB debugging. You're going to go up here. You're going to go to settings, and we're going to scroll down to development options, and then right up here you can see where it says USB debugging, and just make sure it's checked. Right here you can see I have it checked. So as long as we're checked, we're good there. USB debugging is enabled. So the next thing you want to do is you want to launch the device manager right here. So we're going to hit that, and we're going to open up device manager. Okay. So next option we got to do here is go ahead and connect your device with the USB cable right there and plug it in. Alright, now it's going to try to install the drivers, so we can see here in device manager what it's doing. You can see here also that it's trying to install them. So if the install goes smoothly, then we don't have to do anything else. If it all installs okay, we're good to go. If any of these do not install properly, under other devices we will see it. And if it's in there, okay, they all did. If it is there under other devices, we can click on it and we can manually update the drivers. If it all installs correctly, then we're good to go. If we're going to manually update them, I would show you how to do that here. We'll just pick, like, let's say this is the Nexus device, even though it's not. It would be under other devices, and it would have a little yellow triangle like this one has right here. So if it had like that, you would go into it and you would go to Properties, and then you go to Drivers and you go Update Drivers. Then you would say Browse. Right here it says Browse My Computer. We'd click that, and then you can see, actually it's already highlighted, but it would be C drive, and then it would be Wigs, Toolkit, Data, and then Drivers. And then you would say Next, and it will install the correct drivers then, because that is where the drivers are located at, under C, Wigs, Nexus Root Toolkit, v1.5.2, Data, Drivers. So we got that. That's how you'd install them. You'd hit Next, they would install, and then you would be updated correctly. All your drivers would be there and working. So you could go and then close this, and we can go to step 4, which is test ADB drivers. So we go list ADB devices. So we'll click this, and if this comes up where you have a serial number here, your device number, you're good. If it gives you an error, you got a problem. So if you have this, now you know ADB is working correctly. So next step would be reboot into Bootloader. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. So once ADB is working, we can go reboot Bootloader. So it's going to reboot your device in the Bootloader. And here you go. You can see that it's rebooted into Bootloader on the tablet now. So that's good. That step is working. So then the next step we're going to go to would be test Fastboot drivers. Now that we're in Bootloader, is step 7. We can skip step 6 and step 6B. We don't need to worry about those as long as this is all going smoothly. And we'll go to 7. So test Fastboot drivers, and we'll go ahead and say list Fastboot devices. Again, if it gives you a serial number and says Fastboot, you're good. If it gives you an error, there's another problem, and you may have to go back to step 6A and 6B. So we've tested that, then the last thing to do would be to go here to step 8 and reboot device. So it's going to reboot my device. Once the device reboots, then you are all fully set up and good to go, and you are able now to close this window, and all of the tools in this interface right here are now all at your hands. You can do whatever you want to do. Your tablet and your drivers are all configured. Now you can go and you can unlock it, you can root it, you can bring it back to stock, OEM lock again. You got all kinds of backup restore utilities. All these features are now usable because you have the ADB set up on your device, and you have your driver initial setup done. So that is basically the manual setup for the Nexus Root Toolkit for the Nexus 7. Thanks, guys.